Am I sponsored by a company? What is good, YouTube? It's that one camera guy back at it again with another video for you. This is Q&A number 1. It's the first one I'm doing where I'm taking specific questions and answering them in one video. If you're new to my channel and you're finding it for the first time, I want to let you know I go by that one camera guy. I make videos and tutorials and guides on the Sony mirrorless camera system. So if you'd like to follow up on more videos, hit the subscribe button for more content that I put out every single week. And everybody else, you know what to do. Give the video a like and let's get started. Those of you that came for the exact question of whether or not I'm sponsored, go ahead and jump to this part of the video to find it right now. Alright, the first question I got is from PM21AM, who asked, what is the best lens for filming on the Sony a6000? Now, I'm a very budget conscious person, and I think most people are that are using the Sony a6000. I'm going to tell you my most favorite lens is this right here. It's the Sigma 1750 f2.8. I've had it since my Canon days. I absolutely love this lens. And if you don't plan on using the continuous autofocus of this lens and you don't mind manually focusing, this is a great lens for filming. It's 17-50, constant aperture, and it has image stabilization built into the lens for about $300 US. There is no lens currently right now that's being manufactured for Sony that is f2.8. This is a killer lens, and it works with this cheap COM-Lite adapter, well, relatively cheap COM-Lite adapter. If you're curious about any of this stuff, they're all posted in the description below. Question number 2 from Shalika Malinta asked, thanks for the video. I'm planning to buy an Alpha 6300 as my first camera for hobby. Actually, I'm visiting Italy for 10 days. What will be the best budget lens to buy with the Alpha 6300? Can I take landscape photos with the kit lens? Now, the 16-50 kit lens, in my opinion, is not going to be optically the best. However, if you're just starting and you're a beginner, I highly recommend that you just use that lens. Because honestly, if you're not planning to sell your photos or you're not going to put them in a gallery or and you're just starting, what's the reason to spend $500, $600, $700, $800 to get a 16-70 or even a nice prime lens for landscape specifically? My recommendation is use the current 16-50 kit lens. Check out my tutorial guide on it. Practice with it before you go to Italy ASAP. And if you want to upgrade, consider looking at the 16-70 kit lens. I haven't done any reviews on it. There are some mixed reviews about that lens, but you might want to check it out. I think that's the best travel lens you can grab. Question number 3 from George Papamikael. I think I'm saying that right. He says, great video. Having experience from the Canon system as well, how would you compare Sony versus Canon versus Nikon if you have experience with them too? The basic kit lenses, thanks. Now, I do use Canon and Nikon systems at work, and so I'm very familiar with the kit lenses from all 3 manufacturers. Here's my bottom line. As far as the best in terms of usability, obviously I like the Sony 16-50 because it's extremely compact, right? But it's not good for manually focusing and such if you need to do that. Now, the next lens I would put up in that respects is the Nikon 18-50 kit lens. Now, they released a smaller version of the kit lens, which is okay. I have some. I've tried it. I still prefer the slightly bigger one, but if you want something more compact, it's available. And also for Canon, the 18-55, I like their newer STM because it works in conjunction with their dual pixel autofocus technology. I think the Canon's a little bit better than the other ones in my opinion, but I'm talking specifically about the STM model. Question number 4, Insomniac Pix asks, how long does a battery last in 1080p mode if I'm shooting with the a6000? Honestly, I haven't done a test, but with my other cameras like the a6300, a6500, I would say about 40 minutes maybe. 40 or 45 minutes is probably where I would pin it at. Jared Scarda asked, I bought an a6000 about a month ago. I got the kit and the 55-210 as part of a package. I've since bought the 50mm f1.8 OSS and the Rokinon 12mm manual lens, which is really cool. My dilemma is that now I'm thinking I should have gone with full frame with an A7R II, don't we all? But then I really couldn't use my lenses and would have to buy more stuff. I've been considering upgrading already to the Alpha 6500, but I really don't do video, just like the idea of IBIS. you have a lot of videos dedicated to the a6000, even though you have some really amazing gear. Is it sort of your go-to, or is it just because you have a huge user base, thank you, that more likely to search out the content for it? Really enjoy your channel. I know it's a really long question and comment there. Here's how I'd put it. My Sony a6000 is not necessarily my absolute go-to camera. If I just want something extremely casual and I don't mind losing it, I will bring my a6000. Typically, I'll be shooting with my Alpha 6500 or my A9 or A7R2 for situations where I want the absolute best quality. That's usually where I go to. I currently use my A6300s. I got this camera here. I've got a camera back over there, so I'm using my A6300s. And right now, I just want to make some a6000 content and show some love for my viewers who have been waiting for this stuff for the longest time, and I wanted to keep my promise. Mikey Del Mundo asked, also, can you make some teaching videos on Adobe Lightroom or tips for how I enhance my photos? Mikey, I appreciate that you think I'm really good with Lightroom. I am an absolute novice at the software. Now, if you like the way I teach stuff, I can teach the basics and how to use Adobe Lightroom. Let me know, folks, if you're interested in that. I could do it if there is some desire for me to want to teach the stuff. I do teach a certain way. Maybe some people like it, maybe some people don't. But the most I can do is some basic stuff and how I process my images. That's the most I can do. Mikey, thanks for the request. I'll be considering it in the future. Kronos K, what's up, man? I know you ask a lot of questions. I really do appreciate how involved you are on my channel. Excellent videos, he says. I've been close to getting a Sigma 30mm f1.4, but I have recently found out about the Rokinon 35mm f1.4. Me too. That lens does interest me. I think it's about 55 millimeters in APS-C. That is about correct. And they're both very tempting. In one hand, the Sigma 30 millimeters and the Rokinon one works. If I get the Rokinon, it will work in full frame if you ever upgrade to it. What's your opinion about those two lenses? Sadly, he can't get his hands on the Makey lens that I recommended. And he says, greetings from Mexico. All right, let's go ahead and answer that question here. So the difference between the Sigma 30mm f1.4 and the Rokinon, for those of you who are beginners, Rokinon's built for full frame. The Sigma is built for APS-C. If he upgrades to an A7R2, for example, you can still use it, but you'll only get an 18 megapixel image or a cropped image with that lens, which is still not a bad thing. So he's thinking, I might as well just spend the money on a Rokinon 35mm full frame than instead of getting the Sigma 30. Now the only recommendation I would say is, if you don't mind manually focusing, if you don't need autofocus, the Rokinon makes a lot of sense. I think it's a great angle to think about and a great move to it. Again, I have a tutorial guide on how to shoot with manual focus glass. If you're new to my channel, check it out. Really helpful. So if you need autofocus, there's no beating the 30mm f1.4. You gotta go that route. So Kronos K, that's the way I would look at that situation. All right, next question up is Narfelius asks, what's the slowest shutter speed you can get on the a6000? I've got mine right here. Let me go ahead and check and see the slowest shutter speed that, whoa, okay, video mode, it's 1/4 of a second. And then in the photo mode, it's 1/30 of a second. Then there's also bulb mode, but typically, just in general, it's 30 seconds. Nice. Let's move on to the next one. All right, Alvin Ong, what's going on, man? Says, hi, Danny. I would like to ask you to compare the Sony 35mm f1.8 OSS and then the Zeiss 24mm f1.8. I'm kind of confused which one to get. I have a Zeiss 16 to 70 f4 on my a6000. Thanks. All right, Alvin. I know I answered this question sort of, but here's how I would look at it. For everybody else, if you're thinking about these two lenses, the Sony 35mm f1.8 optical steady shot lens is perfect for those of you who want something with optical steady shot. So if you are using the a6000 and you're gonna do video, for example, I would recommend that one over the Zeiss 24 f1.8. If you're purely focused on photography, you're not doing video, I would say the 24 is really nice, although they're very different focal lengths. The Zeiss 24 I don't have, but all I've heard is very good things about that lens. It's extremely sharp, so if that's a big thing for you, that's something you want to consider looking at. But I had the 35 Sony. I like it. You know, it just depends on what you need. I got the 35 because I was going to do video and photos. Ui Chow, I don't know if I'm saying that right, asked me, am I sponsored by Makey? It's a good question. I know I've been producing a handful of videos that show Makey products. The reason why is because I'm trying to cater to an audience group that doesn't want to break the bank. Basically, budget-friendly videos and budget-friendly items. So I've been buying these items through Amazon and then doing product reviews on them and testing them out myself. I typically don't like to promote a product if I haven't used it personally. It's something I highly avoid because I need to be able to back it up that I've used it personally. So I usually give a disclaimer that I don't have those products. With regards to being sponsored by Makey, they actually reached out to me about a few months ago if I wanted to be an ambassador because they saw some of my Makey grip videos about their products and they thought I would be a good fit. I said I declined that offer because I didn't want to be directly attached and connected with them as an ambassador. But I still asked them if we can do some sort of working relationship where I can still get some products to bring in to review. Now, up until this point, I've pretty much purchased everything myself with my own money. And the truth is, YouTube doesn't really generate a lot of funds directly, like YouTube itself. The affiliate stuff, when you purchase something from my description links and below, I make a little bit of money. It's not a huge amount, especially with products that are very low in value. I talk a lot about this if you're really interested in my podcast, Can You Make Money in the Photography Tech YouTube Genre? Check it out. It's really cool, and I give you some of my behind-the-scenes info about my own personal endeavors and what I'm trying to accomplish. But to answer it, Oi Chow, and anyone's curious, I'm not sponsored by Makey, and if I ever get any products that are sent to me or given to me by a company, I will usually let you know in the beginning of the video that it's from the company it's been sent to me. David asks, what is good, that one camera guy? What is good, David? Well, that is all of the questions I got. If there's a question and a burning desire from you to ask something, go ahead and post it in the comment section below so I can answer that for you in an upcoming video next Sunday when I do my next Q&A. And from that, and that's all I got for you. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below. Using those links, even if you're not buying anything, supports the channel and the work that I'm doing, and it motivates me to keep producing more content for you and get on that grind. And once again, like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so. I'm your host, That One Camera Guy, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.